Hi, this is MotherMantiss. I'm back with another video, this time about Nightingale, which I had a chance to play a few hours of the other day as part of their stress test in preparation for their release about 18 days away as of the recording of this video. The game is scheduled to release on February 22nd, and I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest, so let's talk about it.
Your beginnings have ended. I bid you welcome to the Feywilds in earnest. This realm has long been forgotten by the Fey, left in limbo, not unlike you. How fitting.
How fitting.
And thus, here is yours to put down roots. But beware. In short time, darkness will descend, and with it, Stygian perils. Laying foundations will keep you intrepid, child of Earth.
When I entered the realm of Nightingale, it brought forth kind of a blend of emotions, but amidst my initial sort of disappointment, there were glimmers of potential that hinted at the gaming experience that I'm hoping for with Nightingale. Despite the graphics not totally aligning with the beauty promised in the trailers, I'm choosing to attribute this to the game's stage of development. Early access starts in 2.5 weeks or so from the making of this video, so it's only fair that we remember what early access is and give them the benefit of the doubt to make refinements and changes throughout the early access period. So you come into the stress test at about level 10-ish or so, and you're at a point that is somewhat past the beginning of the game. I don't know how much past the beginning of the game, and that fact itself was not made clear, and that causes a lot of confusion when you drop into the game. It took me quite a while to understand how the inventory and build system worked, but I did finally figure it out, and then I decided to set off and explore. The background and lore in Nightingale is dense, and it adds an intriguing depth that definitely made me want to explore this first realm that I landed in. The building and the construction are serviceable. The attributes and trait system introduced an interesting layer based on proximity and indoor-outdoor status, which I also thought was interesting. Combat is serviceable. It definitely has moments of intensity. What really stood out to me, though, is the environment, the general vibe, and the visual spectacle of the night sky and the weather. Those things really stood out to me. I loved the general look. I liked the gas lamp fantasy aspect and the classical art touches, the gorgeous vistas, and some of the quirky touches that Nightingale has. I also love the premise of the game and the notion of earning realm cards and traveling from realm to realm, trying to get back to your home city of Nightingale. That's an intriguing kind of a hook and premise for the story. Also, I did see some complaints about the art style, but I think the art style is true to the gas lamp theme, and the character models are an intentional art choice, so I don't have negative feelings about those either, even though I did see some complaints about those, just because it doesn't seem to be possible to build a perfectly beautiful and flawless character. That's an art choice. I'm fine with it. Performance for me was fine. I had no trouble getting onto a server. I had no real issues once I was in game. There was a little bit of blurring upon initially zoning in, but really it all resolved itself pretty quickly. And Puck, who is your tutorial guide, at least early in the game, is a kind of Shakespearean fey sort of fellow, and I loved his capriciousness and his slightly macabre cheeriness, and his voice actor was really good. Let me preface my criticisms by saying that I fully understand that this was a stress test. The game is just now about to come into early access, so I know that the team intends and plans a lot of improvements before full release. I'm not going to criticize issues that the stress test was designed to uncover, nor did I expect a fully polished game. Having said that, Nightingale does have its fair share of shortcomings in the short experience I had with it that did kind of mar the potential brilliance of the game. The in-world game is lovely, but the graphics do fall a little short of the gorgeous trailers. That's not really a surprise nowadays, though, so okay. Inventory icons were thematically correct, but they look a little bit like clip art. I did hear that those are placeholders and that the UI is still being worked on. but I don't know how much of that can be changed before February 22nd when early access releases. And it does contribute to kind of a lackluster presentation when you first open the UI. Playing the game kind of unraveled a little series of disappointments. For instance, the combat is functional, but it's not exciting. Character creation itself does not have a lot of depth. It really consists of a series of pre-made character models that you choose from. Although there is a feature that has you choose your lineage, which consists of you picking models of your parents and grandparents, and then it tweaks your character to resemble them a little bit so that you are then set within a family tree. I don't know what that adds to the game itself, if anything, but it's kind of a neat feature for immersion, if that matters to you. The companion system is pretty basic. It lacks functionality and it lacks immersion. The companions don't do a whole lot besides follow you, at least not that I experienced. I think it would be nice to have companions that are actually useful, and I'm hoping that that system gets a lot of refinements over this next year. But the worst thing for me, and I think for many based on the comments I saw, was the UI itself. The UI is its own impediment. I'm not taking issue with the font and the stylistic choices, but rather that the UI is cluttered, it's confusing, and it requires a lot more clicks than should be necessary to complete even simple actions. It actually took me quite a while to figure out how to place and confirm build pieces, and even equipping and unequipping items between my character and my backpack took me time to figure out. The contrast with other survival games, especially certain other survival games that are also in early access right now, where there's ease and intuitiveness in the menus, was pretty noticeable to me. My conclusion regarding Nightingale is that it has a lot of potential, but it also needs a lot of refining. They need to address the graphic disparities, they need to refine the combat impact, and overhaul that confusing UI for sure. But the game is very, very pretty. The premise and the story are really interesting, and I think that they really have something here if they incorporate community feedback about the UI and combat in particular. I am a little more cautious about the game now than I was before, but I'm still optimistic, and I'm reminding myself that early access has not even started yet, and that many things can be upgraded and refined during early access. At least I hope. I saw some really negative comments that, while I thought the general critique is fair, I also thought that they were judging the game as if it was a fully released title instead of a game that has a year or more of refinement ahead of it. And that's not fair. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Nightingale so far. Let me know if you played the stress test, and if so, what were your thoughts? And as always, thanks for watching and enjoy your day.